How to fix Tekken in Season 3. Number 1. Major character nerfs across the board. This one is easily the most obvious. When pretty much every single tier list you see is putting 80% of the roster or more in S tier or above, you know there's a pretty huge problem. When was the last time you saw B tier in a tier list, let alone C or D tier? A tier is the new D tier in this game, and it's just hilarious. Yeah, sure. There might be something cathartic about a game where almost every single character is stupidly overpowered, but let me tell you, it does not make for a fun competitive experience. The game is less a situation of, when everyone's top tier, no one is, and is more a situation of the average player hating fighting almost every single character in the game, including their main. We need near universal character nerfs in Season 3, or this game is just not gonna last, neither casually or competitively. So many pro players are just done with the state of the game, and this is largely the reason why. Rather than listing off every character that needs nerfs, because it would take me all day, let's list some of the characters that I don't think need to be nerfed. Characters like Devil Jin, Falcon Ram, Jack, Shaheen, Armor King, Azucena, and maybe these guys. Although you could absolutely make the argument that all of the characters I've mentioned have things that need to be toned down. At the very least, these characters aren't all-around gods with no weaknesses. They have some sort of general counterplay and don't just do everything. When it comes to the nerfs wouldn't all be made equally. The S+ tier characters are going to need significantly more than anyone else. But again, they all need to come down, not by just one tier, but to these guys' level. Every character needs to have a defined weakness. I'm not going to get into individual character nerfs because, again, I would never stop, but maybe I'll make a separate video on that if there's interest. Let me know. Number 2, no buffs. Please, for the love of God, Namco, do not buff any more characters. We saw what happened in Season 2, okay? We don't want another Asuka, another base Season 2 Lars who literally broke the game, another Lydia. Remember the buffs they gave to Steve in the start of Season 2 that completely destroyed his identity and turned him into mindless Season 2 casino slop? Yeah, I'm good off that. And that's not even to mention all the top tiers they buffed for absolutely no reason. We gave Claudio a guard break for some reason, giving Clive a plus on block god mid, giving Brian, well, everything? They've shown that they clearly can't properly buff characters. And even if they've claimed they have a new balance team, I just don't want to risk it. It's not worth setting ourselves back even further in Season 3, and creating a whole new group of cancerous meta characters to fight. That aside, even without that though, I argue that no character in this game even needs buffs. Even the worst characters all have a ton of things that makes them strong. Again, this is why the lowest tier on most tier lists is A. They're already very good. You wouldn't see people begging for A tiers in other fighting games to be buffed, so I don't want to see that here. We need to bring the top 80% of broken characters to their level, not boost them up and make this game even more cancerous to play. Number 3, remove Clive. Just kidding. Unless... Actual change number 3. Chill out with the homing. Sidesteps were buffed quite a bit in Season 2, to the point where we actually have pretty big and fast sidesteps and sidewalks now. It's a shame then that it barely makes any difference at all because of the horrid realignment string system in Tekken 8. It's because of this that you somehow feel more stuck and limited than ever when it comes to your movement, despite people telling you how much sidesteps have been buffed. For some reason, a huge amount of strings in this game automatically realign, causing you to get hit, even when it looks like the attack should not be connecting. This just needs to go. There's no reason to punish people even harder for trying to use defensive options. Movement used to be the cornerstone of high-level Tekken gameplay, but now we see even top players afraid to use sidesteps against certain characters. So many strings were given tracking properties in this game, and I think the vast majority of them just need to go. Why do jab strings consistently track the male characters in this game? This was never a thing prior to Tekken 8. No jab string should be tracking, they just shouldn't. Heat engager strings shouldn't be homing either. I'm looking at you, Kazuya down forward 1-2. Using 3D movement might be stronger than ever against single, one-hit attacks, but this isn't a single-hit attack fighting game. This is Tekken, a game where strings are thrown out more than any other fighting game on the planet. Sidesteps are a core part of this game's identity, and the frustration even world-class pro players feel when they inexplicably get hit mid-sidewalk from a string that has never tracked before in Tekken is severely hurting this game. If you guys are interested in learning more about Tekken 8's stupid realignment system, Nova Saiken has a really well-made video that directly compares Tekken 8 to prior Tekken games. You should go check it out. I'll link it in the description if you're interested. Change number 4. Major nerfs to heat smashes. Heat is a problem. It's been a problem ever since Season 1. And if you remember, back before Season 2 even started, the one thing the whole community agreed that we needed coming into Season 2 was big nerfs to heat. And look how that turned out. I have a ton of ideas, so let's start from the top with heat smashes. Heat smashes need to change in a bunch of ways. First off, they need to universally lose all of their tracking. Recent heat smashes from the DLC characters have been pretty good with this, but now every other character needs to follow suit. You should be able to easily sidestep every heat smash in the game to both directions if you predict it. It's really quite simple. These moves are already strong enough. They shouldn't counteract the primary defensive option of Tekken. Friendly reminder, Clive's heat smash is still programmed to be 100% homing in all directions, and he's been out in the game for almost a full year. They should have no homing. Making them easy to step would be great, but you know what else would be great? If this shit stopped happening. It's one of the absolute worst feelings in the game right now, when you perfectly sidewalk a heat smash, on the rare chance that you actually can, but the heat smash animation just keeps going, and your opponent ends up so far away that you either can't get a punish, or have to settle for a one-hit weak punish. Why is Dragunov going all the way to Narnia after whiffing this? This is incredibly annoying, and I want to see it gone. Another annoying thing is when you're decently far away from your opponent, maybe even backdashing to create space, and the first hit, even the first couple hits of the heat smash whiffs, but then the other hits end up hitting you and you become minus and have to take a mix-up. What is the solution to both of these issues? Make the heat smashes instantly stop their animations if the first hit is whiffed. Boom, the problem is fixed. If these two changes happen, I don't mind heat smashes retaining their plus on block properties, as there would now be clear and easy ways to avoid them, meaning you're always taking risk by throwing them out. If this doesn't happen and they remain incredibly safe and brain dead to use, then yeah, they should not be plus on block, and should instead be more like Jacks or Junes, which push you far away and reset the whole situation, rather than forcing even more mix-ups. Something that's also needed for heat smashes, regardless of any other changes, is the removal, and I mean complete removal, of wall splats. There is no reason for multiple characters to have heat smashes that do almost 100 damage, half of your life bar, if you're standing near a wall. I don't mind breaking floors and even breaking walls, but no wall splatting. And I'm saying this as a Jin main. This shit needs to go yesterday. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Every single low heat smash in the game needs to become launch punishable like Victor's. No, Timmy, you don't get a 40 damage unreactable homing low that wall breaks and is only minus 14 on block. Get that shit out of here, please. Number 5, heat bursts. Okay, heat burst is actually a pretty interesting mechanic in theory with terrible execution. The ability to access your character's strongest state whenever you want from the press of a button is already an incredibly strong option, and that's even before you consider all the properties it currently has. These are armored mid-attacks that are plus on block, the majority of them have at least some level of tracking, they can be activated completely for free with zero risk in the middle of combos, also letting you extend combos to a ridiculous extent, leading to the famous 30-second Tekken 8 juggles we've seen way too much about recently, and some of them just randomly get to have like triple the amount of range as some of the others. This is too much, and we need to fix this. First off, just like heat smashes, heat bursts need to become universal in their properties. None of them should have any homing. It should always lose to sidesteps. And they should all have the same range. Ideally, the range of some of the weaker heat bursts, like Kazuya, but I don't really mind as long as they all become standard. There are so many things in this game that separates each character, so many things that make them stand out, that I think it's perfectly fair for heat bursts to have universal properties. You shouldn't get one with crazy range or one that's homing just because you play a top tier. I also think the ability to use your heat burst mid-combo should either be removed or severely nerfed. I've thought about this quite a lot over the past few months, and while I used to be pretty unsure with this idea, I do think it is the right choice. This alone would solve multiple game-wide problems at once. First off, combos would be nerfed in length pretty significantly, helping us move away from the 30-second Tekken 8 combos. By extension, combo damage and wall travel are going to be reduced as well, which is another big issue the game has right now. There's no reason for almost every character to be able to combo you to the wall, no matter where you are on the stage, and do as much damage as they currently do. More on this later. This would also make heat a far more rare and valuable resource. One of the main reasons heat is so annoying right now is that you see it every single round without failure. It's constant, and with the current version of the game, you get to activate it completely for free, with zero risk or repercussions in the safety of your own combo. Basically, in a game, you win one interaction, and not only are you getting a huge combo, but you also get to enter your character's strongest state, and your opponent then has to wake up to it. This is too much reward. This is one of the biggest problems of the Season 2 meta characters, like Brian, Claudio, and even someone like Heihachi. They barely need to win any interactions to take rounds. Having to get up off the floor after taking a huge combo, and now potentially get guard broken, hit with a low heat smash, hit with a mid heat smash that wall splats, or just put into the Lydia blender is not fun to deal with, and removing the ability to enter heat for free in combos would help with this a ton. Maybe it could become something of an exchange. You can still use a heat burst in a juggle, but as soon as you do, the combo immediately ends. They're splatted against the ground, and can get up right away. Maybe if you want to activate heat at the wall, you can still do it, but then you immediately lose access to your wall combo. You're trading 30 damage for the ability to pop your heat safely. I think something like this would make a big difference and move us in the right direction. At the very least, the scaling should be nerfed very significantly if they don't want to do anything else. Meaning, as soon as you pop the heat in your combo, you're getting like 1 damage per hit. Your combo damage is immediately gutted. That way, you're still taking some sacrifice when you want to activate heat for free. A lot of pro-level players will activate heat after getting a big knockdown, where their opponent is far away and they know they can get it off for free. I don't mind this as much because there's still some sort of exchange. They're giving up their Oki and mix-up to activate heat. That is fine, and that should be the model for popping heat going forward. Number 6. Less heat overall. Tekken 8's solution to heat being too oppressive and people dying in too little interactions was increasing the health pool to 200, so that now the heat state lasts for less of the overall round. In my opinion, this is putting a band-aid on the actual issue, and created a myriad of other super annoying problems in competitive play. The heat bar itself just needs to be nerfed, and how do we do that? Well, first off, we remove this horrible meter stopping mechanic. Letting people extend their heat bar as much as they want, so long as you keep hitting your opponent, promotes aggression way too much. In Season 3, the bar should always keep going down, even in the middle of a combo. As soon as you enter a heat state, you should be on a timer. It's really as simple as that. Your reward for hitting a combo in heat is that you get a combo, you're doing a ton of damage, and are significantly increasing your chances of winning the round. That should be more than enough reward. You don't also need to extend your heat state by 10 or 15 seconds as well. And speaking of extending the heat state, what is this shit, Namco? Every single move in heat that for some godforsaken reason allows you to recover heat, sometimes even more than you're losing, straight up needs to be removed. You should not be able to keep your heat going by dancing back and forth like an ape on Lars. You should not be able to recover like 30% of your heat bar by using as many nunchuck moves in a combo as you possibly can on martial law. Sorry, Kazuya mains, you shouldn't be able to give yourself one more heat interaction before it runs out on Kazuya, simply by landing your enhanced hell sweep. None of this should restore heat. The devs also need to seriously reevaluate the heat cost of some of these moves you get in heat. This technically would go along with individual character nerfs, but I'll mention it here. There's no reason why Brian should be able to do like 5 incinerator strings before running out of heat. Some characters are quite good with this, as their best heat moves makes them lose like a fourth or even a third of their heat bar. But some other characters just get to do so many heat moves before running out of the meter. We need to increase overall heat costs. And speaking of characters' tools and heat, if you are one of the lucky characters to get an install on your character, you should absolutely not get to keep the install for one more use after your heat state ends. It should immediately go away the second you run out of the meter. It's like it's not enough that you basically get unlimited access to your install during heat, but you need one more after the heat bar ends. Why? Why is this a thing? Number 7. Fuck chip damage. This is another one I've thought a lot about, and this is the conclusion I've come to. Recoverable health is an overall good mechanic. It weakens combos and makes matches less steamrolly. Even after taking a bunch of damage, all you need is one smartly placed heat engager, and then you're back in the game, giving yourself a fighting chance. It makes games more dynamic, with health acting like a resource. I actually really like this. What I don't like is being punished for blocking in my fighting game. Even after multiple system-wide nerfs, chip damage is still a dumb and incredibly overblown mechanic, and I think I just want to get rid of it completely. It's like, it's not enough that characters like Lydia, Hwoarang, and Eddie are coming at my guard with relentless pressure and constant plus frames, and if I make the wrong choice at any point, I explode. That's not enough. I also need to lose 40% of my life bar for blocking. I want this gone, and if that's not realistic, at the very least, I want numbers around the board to be put through a cheese grater. I'm talking 3 damage of chip from a move, at most. And even that's a little high for my liking. There's absolutely no reason for the chip damage numbers in Heat to be as high as they are right now. Why does Brian's forward 1+2, a 13 frame startup, plus 5 on block parry, do 14 fucking damage to my block? Why does Asuka's 26 frame charge up attack, that is plus 8 on block mind you, do 12 damage to me for guarding? Oh, and don't even get me started on Lydia. I'll never stop. This mechanic is stupid, and only serves to punish patient and defensive players. If they do want to keep chip damage here, they need to keep it incredibly small. Nothing like what it is today. Number 8. Strong aerial tailspins. I don't know why they felt the need to give almost every character in Season 2 multiple new strong aerial tailspins to greatly increase combo and wall travel, but this was not a good change. It makes combos significantly longer and damage way higher, which is an issue the majority of the player base is not happy with. At the minimum, you should not be able to do multiple of these in one combo. It should be limited to 1 at the most. Letting so many characters get this much combo damage and wall travel seriously hurts character identity. And speaking of that, number 9, return identity to characters. I miss the days when not every single character could get you to the wall from pretty much anywhere and do 90 damage. It used to be the case that characters with wall travel like this was a very unique trait. It was the exception rather than the norm that set certain characters apart. Again, a defined strength. But now, it's essentially universal. Only a very few select unlucky characters still have bad combos. And I think that's just lame. What happened to character identity? Some characters should get way stronger combos, but should be limited in other ways, while characters who traditionally have bad combos, like Yoshimitsu or Fengwei, should get options in their neutral that the other characters don't have access to. Namco, this is called game balance. In general, Season 2 messed with the core strengths and weaknesses of so many legacy characters, and I just hate it. Characters like Asuka have just become gods, with all of their interesting weaknesses and counterplay removed. Why did we remove core execution and combo expression from a character like Lee? Why are we trying to turn Steve into a Lionheart stance-based mix-up character? He was never supposed to be like this. Anna went from an incredibly high-risk, high-reward character in Tekken 7 to a zero-risk, all-reward character in Tekken 8. Yoshimitsu is now an all-around monster. Zafina lost pretty much all of her classic tools in favor of now being the Azazel attack character. Wow, she uses Azazel's power. That's all she is now. The developers keep pushing characters like Paul, who was always supposed to be a single strike-based fundamental character, into a stance-based character. I know some people are going to disagree with me here. I'm sure there's plenty who prefer some of these new identities compared to their old ones, but I just don't like the direction a lot of these legacy characters are going in. This is certainly a reach and is not something we need to fix the core game's issues. This is more so a wish coming from a big Tekken fan. There's plenty of other changes I'd like to see that I didn't get to mention. How could I not mention the millions of bugs currently in the game that are actually costing players like Gosane entire tournament victories? There are so many bugs in the game that need to be addressed. How is this not a priority for Namco, and why is the game still in this state? There's also quite a lot of changes I'd like to see outside of the gameplay itself. getting rid of the first to 2 in ranked, better lobby systems. I could go on all day, but I'm running out of time here. So let me know in the comments what changes you want to see in Season 3, and make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you boys in the next one. If you're still playing Season 2, good luck out there. It's rough.